Have you ever thought about that strange paradox in attraction? We're always told that deep connection is the goal. But sometimes, the most magnetic thing about a person is how emotionally independent they are. In this explainer, we're going to dive into exactly why that is, why a partner's self-sufficiency can be so incredibly compelling. So let's just get right to the big question, shall we? Why is it that women are so often drawn to men who don't seem to need them? A man who is completely self-sufficient, who isn't constantly looking for approval, what's the deal with that? It sounds like a total contradiction, but the answer goes way deeper than you might think. Right into the psychology of how we feel safe and free in our relationships.
All right, to really unpack this, we have to talk about a concept called silent power. And no, this isn't about being loud or dominant or anything like that. It's actually the opposite. It's a quiet, internal kind of strength that can literally change the entire feeling of a relationship.
So what exactly is silent power? Well, at its heart, it's the quiet confidence and self-sufficiency of a man who is, and this is the key phrase right here, emotionally whole without her. Just think about that for a second. His happiness, his self-worth, his stability, it's all coming from within. He chooses to be with his partner. He doesn't need her to feel complete. That's a game changer.
And what does this look like in the real world? Well, it's a guy who isn't constantly fishing for compliments. He's not always asking, "Do you love me?" or needing reassurance. Why? Because he already has his own strong sense of self. He's got his own internal engine for validation, which makes him truly, authentically self-sufficient.
To get this paradox, you really have to see both sides of the coin. So let's start with the first half of the equation, the man who is whole. What does that actually mean, and what does it feel like to be in a relationship with someone like that?
It really just means his emotional center of gravity is inside himself. He can love his partner, value her, cherish her, but his fundamental well-being doesn't rise and fall based on her approval. He's the source of his own stability. He's like an anchor in the relationship, not someone who's desperately looking for an anchor.
Okay, so his independence is half the story, but here's where it gets really interesting. The truly fascinating part is the massive effect his independence has on her. This is where we see how his internal world creates this incredible feeling of freedom for his partner.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the man who depends on her for his stability. For her, that feels like a constant weight, this heavy responsibility to manage his emotions. It's just exhausting. But then, look at the right side. When he's whole on his own, that weight is just gone. It's lifted, and what's left is this amazing feeling of freedom. A feeling that's not just liberating, but also incredibly safe. And that feeling actually has a name: emotional freedom. It's that huge sigh of relief a woman feels when she realizes she doesn't have to be her partner's therapist, cheerleader, and emotional regulator all rolled into one. She can just be his partner. So we get what's happening, but why? Why is this sense of emotional freedom so ridiculously attractive? Well, the answer seems to be wired into us. It's something primal, a deep-seated connection that goes way beyond just a simple preference.
Yeah, this isn't something you think through logically with a pros and cons list. This attraction is a gut-level thing. It's a deep-seated, almost instinctual response to the profound sense of safety and security that his stability provides. It's a feeling, not a thought.
And this quote just nails it. When a man doesn't depend on her validation, the woman feels safe to relax. That word, safe, that's everything. When she isn't carrying the burden of his emotional state, she can finally let her guard down. She can relax and connect in a way that's so much deeper and more authentic. So you see, there's this really clear psychological chain reaction. It all starts with his independence. That independence creates a stable foundation for the relationship. That stability, in turn, creates a powerful feeling of safety for her. And it's only inside that safe space that a truly genuine, deep connection can actually happen. So look, if you take away just one single thing from all of this, let it be this simple, powerful idea. His wholeness gives her freedom. Freedom from responsibility, freedom to be herself, and the freedom to feel completely and totally safe in their connection. Which kind of leaves us with one final big question to chew on. In a world that's so focused on money, status, and all these external kinds of power, could it be that true emotional independence, that quiet internal strength, is actually the most attractive power of all? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.